Welcome into the Against the Odds pod. I'm Tyler.
And it's Colton, and I'm back. It's been a minute, but I'm excited to be back. I've left Tyler out to hang for a little bit, but I'm glad to see you guys, and glad you guys are still tuning in. Hopefully,
You missed a couple of weeks. We missed the show. A lot of stuff's going on. Finals right now, so
yeah,
pretty time. Before we get into everything that's happened, we got a lot to talk about today. Want to mention on PrizePicks right now, if you use code ATOP, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Also, they're giving out a free win on there. Justin Herbert should throw for over half a yard on Sunday Night Football. So not only will you get money from them for using our code, but you also get a free win. So make sure to, sign up and use code ATOP. It's available in 30 plus states and you only have to be 18.
yep. Well, what are you gonna get started with? It was a crazy conference championship weekend, I'd say.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I would we can go ahead and get in that. So, obviously, I said it on the podcast last week, the Big 12 championship game was going to be a great game, and I kind of screwed up. I said it wasn't going to be as good of a finish as the year before with Baylor and Oklahoma State, but it ended up being a great finish.
yeah. I think it was it surprised me a little bit, but at the same time, it held the game. Like, I think the way it turned out was honestly great. I didn't even get to see the ending, which was the best part. But yeah, it was a solid game. I think both quarterbacks played. Especially TCU, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He played great, like amazing. I think if anything, we can kind of talk about the Heisman race. I mean, I don't honestly know who's going to win it, but I think the way he played, especially that final drive, was like amazing. I think it was probably one of the best like QB performances all year.
Yeah, he killed me on that final drive. I placed an entry on PrizePicks. I had Deuce Vaughn, Kansas State's running back, over yards in the second half, and I had Max Duggan over passing yards in the second half. And when they got the ball back, I only needed 20 yards from Duggan passing, and he ran the whole field, that whole drive. So that killed me. But yeah, another Heisman front runner got beat. Both the two people going to New York now got beat this weekend. Well, I guess Stetson Bennett's going now too. But Caleb Williams on Friday night. That was Utah. That was pure dominant.
Yeah, I don't know who I had for that game. I know I wasn't on to talk about it, but honestly, I just knew. Utah for my predictions early on, I had them high, and I didn't think. I think they were too strong of a team. I didn't think USC this. I didn't think it was going to be this year. They're the year this year. Like, I knew Utah was going to be like tough for them, and I didn't think they're going to get over them with Lincoln Riley's first year in USC.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about that game is, did you get to watch any of it?
I watched a little bit of it, but
Yes. To me, that was prime example of a team that is full of transfer players. It felt like they had no fight and they quit.
Yeah.
And, I get people transferring, but when you get a whole team full of transfers, they're not all there for, to compete when times get rough. Sometimes I'm not bashing people for transferring, I get it, but when your whole team's transfers, they might not have the fight in them.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird, especially with the whole new transfer portal and NIL deals. It's gonna be crazy because it's gonna be pretty much like NFL with like free agents and stuff. So um, we'll see. Because chemistry is a huge thing, and I just think players moving around and there being no penalty at all is gonna actually be kind of scary. I don't like it's a good thing, but I think at the same time it's scary that you can have one team one year, the next year it's like completely almost a different team. So it's gonna be nice to see some of like maybe the hidden talent move on and kind of shine in other places. But I don't know. Transfer portal kind of scares me.
Yeah, me personally, I kind of feel like like I like that people can transfer now because if you sign somewhere and then the coach you signed to gets fired or leaves, like yeah, I think you should be able to transfer, or maybe you've gotten buried like in the doghouse or gotten buried in the depth chart. Yeah, transfer. But I think there should be like you get one transfer and then after that transfer you have to sit out a year if you go to transfer twice. Because look at JT Daniels. I think he's transferring for the third time now.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that. Which is, I mean, I don't understand because I know, like, I mean, you got to think like transferring to West Virginia. Obviously, you got to be smart. He probably got a bag. Actually, was NIL even in the
Yeah,
question? Went
yeah, he got it this year.
okay. Well, I mean, like, see, that's the issue because I mean, what was another thing? Drake May. I think someone was fighting to try to get him to transfer. And imagine him having the season he did at North Carolina, just going to a new team just to get more money, even after having such a great year he did. He's staying, as I think that's what he said. But I mean, it's just wild. I think there should be a cap, but I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go back once you've opened it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, let's look back to week 0. We made some predictions on the season. Uh, so me and you actually both picked 2 out of 5 of the conference champs, and we picked the same conferences. We both had winning the ACC and Utah winning the Pac-12. And then we both had Baylor winning the Big 12 and Ohio State winning the Big 10. Neither of those teams made it. And then, of course, you had Bama winning the SEC, and I had LSU winning the SEC.
Yeah. Well, LSU made it, so I mean, you could say you kind of got it half right, but I mean, I don't know. Georgia looked. I was completely wrong about Georgia. I said they were going to struggle with how many defensive players they lost, but their defense just picked up where it left off. I think Kirby Smart's just a defensive genius, and then their offense, I mean, is scary. And I think Stetson Bennett, even though he's not the most flashy quarterback, I think honestly him being in the Heisman, it kind of, even if he doesn't win, I think it's deserved that he is going to be in New York. I mean, going back to back with Georgia and bringing them to the finals 2 years in a row. I mean, you can't do that without a good quarterback. So
Yeah. And then, so this my top 4 to make the playoffs this year were Ohio State, LSU, Baylor, and Georgia. So I got 2 out of the 4.
yeah,
And then you had Bama, Ohio State, Baylor, and Utah. You came about 1 loss away from Utah
yeah.
making sliding in if they wouldn't have lost, to UCLA or Florida. So
Yeah, I mean, didn't look great this year. I think I said TCU may have been my sleeper team. So it's, I mean, good for them. I mean, I didn't think they're going to go almost undefeated this year, but I mean, I think they played outstanding this year, and I think them making it's completely like deserved. But I think I now know in the future, just to guarantee either Ohio State or Michigan, and then an SEC team for the time being. And I think just the rest of the conferences right now are a shakeup. But it's not even really going to matter because of the expansion. So,
right.
I mean, at this point, kind of throw it out the window.
Yeah. Before we get into the expansion and everything, also this year I went 85-42 against the spread and over unders and everything, and then you ended up going 73-41, same thing, which is crazy because this is your first year, really
Yeah.
betting and going against the spread and everything. So that was really good.
Yeah, I kind of surprised myself. I might actually hop in to like actually putting some money on the line. I like throwing my bets out there, but I mean, I think it was scary coming in my first year. Actually going into this kind of new to it, but I might have to if I'm placing that well my first time, especially you too. I mean, even if I just listen to you, I mean, we make some money. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, did the math. So if you would just put $10 on every bet that we set on here, you'd be up 320.
yeah,
So can't be mad at that. That'd be
I don't know. I'll be chilling. I'll be chilling. That's free beer each weekend. So I'm chilling.
be calling out of work tomorrow.
Yeah, be work this weekend for sure. Going home a week early.
Yeah. So yeah, so the last week you weren't on the playoff expanding to 12 teams year after next. So we got one more year after this year, the 4 team. What are your thoughts?
Um, you know, I think it's gonna be fine because I think let's say what is it, 12 teams? So it's gonna be what top four make it, and then get a bye, and then the other 8 teams play each other, and then that goes to four, and the winner of those play the top four. Correct?
Yeah. So it's the top 4 highest ranked conference champions get to bye.
Oh, so it's not even top four highest rated teams.
It's the or for I'm pretty sure it's not. I think it's the top 4 highest. It is because Utah would have got a bye.
Do you agree though? Do you agree with that though?
No.
I think it should still be the top four teams, regardless of because I think they should get a bid the championship regardless. But I don't think they should necessarily get a bye because that's like what 9-3
Yeah.
Utah gonna get a bye in the
Yeah.
over what 12-1 Ohio State who lost one game to the number 2 team. So hopefully they change that because I don't think that's smart. But I think if Ohio State wasn't to get a bye, then I think it's not going to matter. I think they would still win out their first game they have to play. So
Yeah. So it's the top 4 conference champs, highest ranked conference champs get a bye, and then you got the one bid for the lowest or for the highest ranked non-power 5 school.
okay,
And then you have the other what would that be, 7 teams? So I think it's 5 plays 12, and then the winner of 5 and 12 would play. I guess
I don't know how the breakdown works. Hold on.
yeah, it'd be like that because it's a bracket. So yeah, 5 would play 12, 7 and 8 would play each other, 6 and 11, or 7 and 10, and so on. But yeah, I don't know. Do you like it going to 12, or do you think it should have gone somewhere else?
I mean, I think it's good. It's gonna be more college football, regardless, and I think it. I mean, the better team's gonna win at the end of the day. So I think giving the teams shots that never usually make it. Um, it might be interesting to see. Do I think they're going to win? Do I think how long is it going to take for someone out of the top, I would say 5 to win? I think it's going to be a couple years, if not more. Um, but also, I think that it devalues the regular season. Like the championship games we just saw meant nothing unless you get the buy out of it, which but no one's really going to care, you know. So it's like we can go into this championship game, we made it, we don't really have to try that hard, we're already in. So I mean it kind of devalues regular season games because now let's just say an Alabama who usually makes it every year can now lose 2 games, probably even 3, and still make it in if the top 12 make it. So
Yeah, so here's my question. So like this year, Ohio State, Michigan, huge game, everything riding on it because at the time, the loser was probably out. Ohio State had some things happen that got fall their way, but if you're either of those teams, do you even care about winning that? Because listen, because then you have to play an extra week in your conference championship. Okay. So let's just say, like, okay, yeah, you win that, you get a bye week later on, but you're going to get a week off, like, if you lose, because you already know you're in. And what happens if you're the team that wins that game and then you lose in the conference championship? You just had to play an extra week and you're still going to make the playoffs, but you just had to play an extra week while the team you beat got a week off.
more pro too. I mean, you could end up hurting someone. So I mean, I get that, but I mean, I think it's just gonna be. It's gonna at this point, it's a done deal, and I think it's gonna be interesting. Like, I think I pulled up. Let me see if I'm trying to look at what the bracket would be um, for the.
I know Tennessee and Clemson would still play. I don't know the exact rundown of it. But yeah, I think